LeBron James, Caitlyn Jenner, Monet Davis, Tom Brady, and Monet Davis, and the YouTube Fantasy Football League. What do they all have in common? We talk about them all the time. Now, due to a terrible third-round pick by Christian Mingle, who picked up Jordy Nelson, who we all knew his knee was taken from him by goblins, has to do a week preview. So he joins us live in the newsroom with more. Christian?
Thanks, Adam. I'm going to take a look at this year's 2015 YouTube League draft class, as well as Week 1's previews. Let's get started. Zach Brelsford, owner of team Check My Balls. The team is led by number 1 overall draft pick Jamal Charles and Alfred Morris, followed by Teddy Bridgewater, Alshon Jeffrey, Andre Johnson, Heath Miller, Frank Gore, the Arizona Cardinals defense, Connor Barth. He also has a couple notable bench players, one being the biggest bench player in the draft, well, at least for the first 2 games, taken as the 80th pick in the draft, captain of Check My Balls, Tom Brady. Not to mention he has Devontae Adams on the bench, a player that's going to be one to watch for this season, especially since we'll get to that later. Anyway, Check My Balls is going up against Hingle McCringleberry, owned by the one and only Travis Hudson. His team is led by Le'Veon Bell, who as of now has to grab some bench, and Jeremy Hill. And along with Jeremy, starting in Week 1 is Eli Manning, CJ Anderson, DeAndre Hopkins, Jordan Matthews, Julius Thomas, Brandon Marshall, the St. Louis Rams defense, and Dan Bailey. Travis probably has the strongest bench in the league, and now is sitting Le'Veon Bell, Giovanni Bernard, and Vincent Jackson. This might be the matchup of the week to see, as Travis most likely has the best roster from top to bottom, while other than Teddy Bridgewater, Zach has almost no weakness in his starting squad. Let's move on to Chris Schoonover, as he did have the number 2 overall draft pick, and then he didn't, which is why he gets awarded the most original team name, number 2 overall pick. His team is led by DeMarco Murray and LaShawn McCoy, 2 big names both looking for a fresh start with new teams. He also has Ben Roethlisberger, Brandon Cooks, Jeremy Maclin, Greg Olsen, Dougie Fresh, Denver Broncos defense, and Greg Zuerlein. Notable bench player would be Ricky Stanzi. It's a bold strategy and we'll see if it pays off for him. But while Ricky Stanzi made his roster, Schoonover miraculously does not have the worst quarterback combo in this league. We'll see who does a little later. But first, Schoon will be taking on Riley Scroggins, better known as Scroggy, in the matchup of awesome last name nicknames. Scroggy owns team Crab Leg Bootleg, led by probably the best 1-2 pick combo of this league, Adrian Peterson and Calvin Johnson. He also is starting Matt Ryan, Melvin Gordon, Randall Cobb, Martellus Bennett, Nelson Aguilar, Miami Dolphins defense, and Steven Gostkowski. Scrogdog has no real bench threats at all, just like Schoontang. Luckily for these two, bench players don't count anyways, which thankfully will make this matchup something worth watching, as they do have pretty good starting squads. Up next, we'll take a look at John Dykstra's team, Saved by Odell, which makes it no surprise that his team is led by Odell Beckham Jr. and Marshawn Lynch. John, God help him, is also starting Sam Bradford, Lamar Miller, Mike Evans, Jason Witten, Joseph Randall, and Jets defense, and Justin Tucker. Notable bench player would be Tony Romo and Keenan Allen. John's 2 quarterbacks whose eyes are way too close together makes us wonder if John plans on going to the playoffs at all this year, as they are just good enough to earn him the worst quarterback combo in the league. John will be taking on the always handsome Christian Mingle, team X-Wing at Maliciousness, who is led by Antonio Brown and Matt Forte. I'll also be starting Peyton Manning, Mark Ingram, Jordy Nelson's more talented half-brother Jarvis Landry, Jordan Cameron, Jonathan Stewart, the Texans defense, and Adam Vinatieri. And other than Captain Jordy on the sidelines, I really have no bench players worth mentioning. Moving on, Nathan Pickman and the ever-so-creative name Team Pickman will be led by Eddie Lacy and AJ Green. Pickman also is going to be seeing Russell Wilson, TJ Yeldon, Sammy Watkins, Tenacious T, Ravis Kelce, Deshaun Jackson, Kansas City Chiefs defense, and for Pickman's own amusement, Cairo Santos. There are also no notable bench players other than the fact that Pickman selected 5 Chiefs players in the draft, in Kelce, Chiefs D, Cairo, Miles Davis, and Chris Conley, earning him the most passionate Chiefs fan award, which unfortunately will probably also result in him doing a few of these videos himself. Pickman is taking on Gary Smith, who really went all out on his team name, Team Smith, who's led by Aaron Rodgers and Julio Jones. He's also starting Carlos Hyde, Amir Abdullah, Amari Cooper, Jimmy Graham, local boy John Brown, Ravens defense, and Blair Walsh. Notable benchman, Larry Fitzgerald. This matchup between Gare Bear and Pickman is almost as exciting as their team names. And last but probably not least, since we already covered John, Corby Troutman and his team Pull the Lever Gronk is led by none other than Gronk himself and Demaryius Thomas. He also has Drew Brees, Andre Ellington, Shane Green, Julian Edelman, Roddy White, Seahawks defense, and Stephen Hauschka. Notable schoolboy bench, Mike Wallace. Corby will be taking on Caleb Wagner and my personal favorite team name, the Pierre-Paul Finger Blasters. The PPFB will be led by Andrew Luck and Dez Motherbeater Bryant. He's also starting Justin Forsett, Todd Gurley, T.Y. Hilton, Zach Ertz, Emmanuel Sanders, Bills defense, and Matt Bryant. Also, no notable real bench players. Well, that's it. I'm YouTube League 2015 Senior Draft Analyst / Week 1 Preview Guy Christian Mingle, and I'm out.